Fall of the Roman Republic is one of the most interesting stories of history, and it's the subject of one of the few books I've ever actually managed to finish, titled Rubicon by Tom Holland. Tom Holland wrote 378 wonderful pages on the subject, and I'm going to try to sum it up in the 110 seconds that I have left. Rome was founded as a city in Italy, but quickly found itself ruling the entire Mediterranean after managing to both pick fights and win fights with all their regional rivals, including the Carthaginians, the Greeks, and the Gauls. Despite changing geographically from the boundaries of a single city-state to ruling a cross-continental empire, the Roman preference for traditional conservative values led to fierce resistance to the implementation of any kind of meaningful political change to the structure of Rome. One of the most pressing issues became the soldiers. Rome insisted on having only male landowners who owned property in the actual city of Rome in the army. As the empire expanded, however, these landowners were kept further away from their families, and it became harder for them to manage their domestic affairs, their farms and their shops. Oftentimes, these soldiers would go off to serve Rome, come back to Rome, find their families in debt, sell their property to pay the debt, and ironically, find themselves ineligible for future military service. This process led to an ever smaller, less effective military, and an ever-increasing number of urban poor. Gaius Marius saw this issue, and when a pressing war demanded more manpower, passed a series of laws that abolished the property requirement for military service. It also instituted a much larger standing army. The issue became this: whereas the army of early Rome was made up of free landowners fighting out of patriotic duty, the army after Marius became full-time soldiers fighting as a profession, oftentimes made up of the most disaffected lower ranks of society. They became much more loyal to their general, who was often responsible for getting the soldiers paid, allowing them to pillage, and getting them rewards, than to the Senate. Once generals figured out how much power they held due to the loyalty of their troops, power began to migrate from the Senate to their generals. When conflict broke out between Julius Caesar, a Roman general campaigning in Gaul, and his political rivals who had seized power in the Senate, Caesar was able to use his loyalty over his troops to convince them to march on Rome and instituted himself as an emperor.